Hello, good morning, and welcome to the 11th Annual American Climate Leadership Summit. I'm Meighen Speiser, ecoAmerica's Executive Director, and I'm joining you from the ancestral land of the Ohlone people, also known as San Francisco, California. Joining me soon will be Vanessa Auk, news anchor for Telemundo and ecoAmerica board member. We're your MCs for the summit, and we're glad you're here. So Vanessa will be joining us from Miami, which is the native land of the Taino people. And we're going to tell you about all the exciting things we are going to do over the next 4 days in just a minute. But first, we want to recognize that many people around the world are going through challenging times right now. The pandemic continues. People are suffering from fires, floods, severe storms, drought, famine, oppression, and war. So please join in a moment of silence for the people of Ukraine and all who are suffering at the hands of injustice. Taking a moment to recognize the oppression and injustice in the world can help us reconnect with our humanity. It reminds us that we need each other and that we are all on this planet together. We can go farther faster when we help each other. Over the years, there have been divisions amongst Americans on many subjects, including on climate change. And there are many, like those of you joining us today, who are actively bringing forward solutions. Others who are quite effectively stalling progress, or worse, working against it. And a spectrum of people in between who have growing levels of concern and just need to know what to do. So today and for the next 4 days, we're going to focus on moving past this division. We're going to embrace that climate change impacts all of us, some of us more than others. And we're going to focus on what we can all do to be part of the solution. So that brings us to the themes of the American Climate Leadership Summit, which are ambition, restoration, and justice. Ambition is a call to bring forward climate solutions faster. Restoration is restoring nature, restoring communities, and restoring ourselves. And justice is about centering justice in all we do. So over the next 4 days, ambition, restoration, and justice will be discussed in nearly every session. We will focus on what you need to do about climate change, what you need to know. And on the third day of the summit, we will host the National Health and Climate Forum. And on the fourth day, which is the last day, will be the National Faith and Climate Forum. So you all are invited to all 4 days, and there are speakers and sessions that will appeal to each of us. So this is the 11th Annual American Climate Leadership Summit. We at ecoAmerica host this summit because we want Americans to know that people from all parts of the country and a wide variety of backgrounds can be part of the solution to climate change. And did you know that 75% of Americans are concerned about climate change, including half of Americans who are very concerned? And so this is most of us. And ecoAmerica learned this in our recent research. We also found that Americans only think that 14% of people around us are very concerned. So most are concerned, but they don't think people around them are. And that is a big gap. When nobody thinks that folks around them are concerned, they are more reticent to speak out or act. Conversely, when people hear others close to them talking about climate change and see them taking steps to act, they are more likely to follow suit. So the antidote is to be visible and vocal on climate. And key to this is helping our friends, our family, our neighbors, our coworkers see how it matters to us personally. So we can let them know that they are not alone in their concern, that climate change solutions are vast, and that people just like them all across the country feel responsible and want to be part of the solution. We can all act on climate every day. So the American Climate Leadership Summit brings forward inspiring speakers, empowering sessions, and practical guidance and opportunities to help you to act on climate, speak about climate, and inspire your family, friends, neighbors, colleagues, and even policymakers to do the same. So we hope that over the next 4 days that we show you that climate change is not a special interest to push to the side. Rather, climate change is a personally relevant public priority for us all. Over 100 speakers will show you the way that climate change is an everyday issue for everyone. So get ready for 4 days, starting with today. So today we're going to hear about the state of our climate and solutions. We will learn from health, faith, and local community leaders about the roles we can all play. We'll hear about how nature, business, farming, and what we eat are parts of the solution. And we will learn how to prepare for climate change and about a community called East St. Louis that has found multiple benefits of doing so. We will hear how justice, democracy, and climate solutions are a package deal, and how engaging and including a broader diversity of Americans is the just, equitable, and only pathway forward for success. Finally, we'll cap off the day with the American Climate Leadership Awards, where we will celebrate the 10 finalists who have demonstrated success, mobilize Americans for climate action with replicable programs that work towards climate justice. And we will be announcing the winner and runner-up live. So the runner-up will take home $25,000 and the winner will receive $50,000. I can't wait. It's going to be an exciting day, and all of you joining us today can participate too. We want you to feel like you are just as much part of this program as our speakers, and have selected this interactive platform to support just that. So take a look at the right-hand side of your screen. In it, you can use the chat function. You can chat with all of us or even chat one-on-one with other attendees. Try it. Send us all a chat now to say hello and where you're joining from today. In the chats, you can also use emojis or even GIFs, which are little animations to animate your thoughts and conversations. Have fun, but please keep it clean and supportive. You can also ask questions to the speakers in the Q&A function, and you can upvote other people's questions as well so that they have a higher likelihood of being asked. You'll have polls that you can take, and if you haven't already done so, be sure to complete your profile so other attendees can learn about you and connect. Other things you can do in this interactive ACLS platform are using the networking function. So the networking function is exciting. It is on the left-hand side of your screen, and it is an area for spontaneous one-on-one meetings with other attendees. So it's automated by our platform called Hopin, and it is a way of making new connections. Similar to an experience that feels like FaceTime or Hangouts, Hopin pairs two people over direct video call with each of your permission, of course. Check it out. You can have a 3-minute chat, which can be extended or turned into a meeting or conversation. So also, if you want to replay any of the sessions from the prior day of the summit, you'll be able to visit the replay function, also on the left-hand side of your screen, starting tomorrow. And you can visit the expo area, which includes booths from our co-sponsors. You can get access to the latest reports, tools, and opportunities to engage on climate. You can even schedule time to meet with our sponsors in their booths. And thanks to our co-hosts, including the American Psychological Association, Bonwood Social Investments, Millikan Institute of Public Health at George Washington University, Environmental Defense Fund, Healthy Babies, Bright Futures, the Medical Consortium, the United Church of Christ, and Evangelical Lutheran Church of America, and all to the many other sponsors who have helped ecoAmerica bring this summit today. And so there's a lot for you to do, to learn and to engage with at this summit. Remember to also join the conversation in social media using the hashtag ACLS22. And over the next 5 hours, remember to maintain your energy and your hydration and enjoy. We will support you with amazing speakers, many ways to engage, and health-based activities and breaks. So let's all commit to raising our climate ambition and working for restoration and justice, beginning now with our first session. Please join me in welcoming Bob Perkowitz, ecoAmerica's founder and president. I'm proud to serve on the board with Bob and to see firsthand his unending commitment to climate ambition, restoration, and justice. I think you'll learn a lot from Bob. I always do. Over to you, Bob.
You've been told again and again that climate change isn't real, that it's not caused by humans, that the planet always goes through these cycles, and that the scientists disagree. You've been told that climate change is beneficial and that burning fossil fuels is necessary to lift people out of poverty. You've been told that stopping climate change will cost too much money, and by the way, it's cold outside. And now we're being told that it's too late, that there's nothing we can do about climate change except to adapt if you're wealthy and suffer if you're not. You've also been told that if climate change is real, it's your fault. It's your responsibility. You are wasting energy, driving a big car, flying around in airplanes, eating meat. You need to reduce your carbon footprint, get on a low carbon diet, turn down your thermostat, recycle more, and go vegan. Do you know where those phrases come from? Carbon footprint, beyond petroleum, low carbon diet? They don't come from climate activists. Those phrases all come from oil companies. They spend more money misleading us on climate change than they do on addressing it. And now they're actually telling us that they're going to go net zero by 2050 in their operations. What's even more ironic, polluters are making us pay for this mess. We are responsible for the cost to cap the wells, clean up the air and water pollution, stop the wildfires, and build the dikes. We, our children, need to suffer the consequences on our health from all the pollution, and disadvantaged people need to suffer the most. We, taxpayers, through government, even need to fund new technologies that will enable the pollution profiteers to sell us ever more dirty fossil fuels. We've been lied to and blamed for climate change for so long that many of us believe these lies. They distract us, confuse us, and disempower us. They transfer the responsibility and the cost of climate change from the polluters to us. And they paralyze us from taking the actions necessary to preserve thriving nature and thriving humanity. So all the maliciousness and mendacity, all the years of putting profit before people and planet has now led us to the era of climate consequences. The heat death of the planet is all around us. Glaciers and polar ice caps are melting. The crucial Conger ice shelf just collapsed 2 days ago. Oceans currents are slowing. Wildfires, storms, and floods, you know the story. There's only one thing that we can do that really addresses those problems, just one thing: stop burning. The latest IPCC report finds unequivocal evidence that any more delays in reducing emissions, and we will miss a brief and rapidly closing window of opportunity for a global livable future. Close quote. Things don't look good. Carbon needs to be cut in half by the end of this decade, but instead, emissions are now on track to increase about 14%. Mr. Guterres, Secretary General of the UN, says this is madness. Addiction to fossil fuels is mutual assured destruction. So, can we still solve climate change and preserve our planet and ourselves, or is it too late? Well, I think the evidence still is that we have a good chance. Despite strong headwinds, many communities, businesses, activists, and policymakers have made amazing progress over the past decade on clean energy, finance, products, and policies that we need to save ourselves. In fact, and if there's only one thing you take away from this, we are technically in a better position now to solve climate change than ever before. Might not seem right, but 10 years ago, we didn't have competitive clean energy. Now we do. 5 years ago, we didn't have utility scale batteries. Now we do. Car and truck makers are moving at breakneck speed to go electric. Dozens of countries, thousands of communities and corporations are committed to cut their emissions in half by 2030 and go real net zero by 2040 or 25. The momentum is on the side of the good guys, us. We've lowered the cost of clean energy so much that fossil fuels are uncompetitive. Legacy polluters now need to pass laws to hinder or stop us. They are working ferociously to raise the cost of clean energy and get more subsidies for their dirty energy so they can be competitive in a world that has already rendered them obsolete. America and the world are already rapidly shifting to a safer, healthier, and more prosperous future. We can't let the fossil fuel companies slow us or stop us. So we can save ourselves. The real question isn't about feasibility, it's about plausibility. Will we save ourselves? The answer to that question is less obvious. Technically, we just need to stop burning, electrify everything, and get that electricity from clean sources as fast as we can. We need to reduce our emissions by half by 2030. We can clearly do both of those things and reap massive benefits. We just need to deploy. Deploy, as John Doerr says, with speed and scale. His book should be popping up in the chat window now. And we really need to focus on ambition, restoration, and justice. Ambition means do what needs to be done, not take baby steps. Restoration means we take care of nature, it will take care of us. And justice, if we take care of the people who bear the biggest burden, we will take care of all of us. This isn't a technical challenge. It's a social challenge, a political challenge. Can we build enough public support and political resolve to overcome the maliciousness and mendacity of the fossil fuel industry? That's simple. I don't know how those people sleep at night, but they have a lot of money and power. We've been working on overcoming this ever more aggressively over the years, and it's clear we have not made enough progress. Millions of Americans are increasingly concerned about climate change, but as Catherine Hayhoe, to the chat, will tell us on Thursday, they don't know what to do. And if they don't know what to do, they do nothing. We need to do more than just get out the vote in the next election and those that follow. We need to ask and empower all Americans to address climate change in their daily lives, in their workplaces and communities, and with policymakers. We, all of us, need to engage everyone, every day in climate solutions. That's what this summit is all about. And by the way, thanks so much for joining. And a personal thanks from me to the team, all of our partners, and all the speakers who are coming together here. Almost 100 expert speakers are coming your way over these 4 days to help us realize that the climate change solutions depend on us. As we listen to them, we'll learn more about why and how we should be talking about climate change to everyone every day. You need to live our values. What we do is a sign to others. It shows them how and empowers them to act on climate change. You need to make part of your job to encourage your company to make a public commitment and move toward a 50% reduction in emissions as fast as possible. Same with your community. In staff meetings and community meetings, bring up climate change. ecoAmerica has a variety of straightforward resources that can help guide you. Cue the chat again. So next time someone tells you we can't stop climate change, that you can't make a difference, ask them if they vote. People tell you that your vote doesn't count. The exact opposite is true. Voting is a right and a responsibility, and at this point, so is the climate for all of us. Okay, well, I've got you a couple more things you should know. Cue the chat again. First, as my favorite Australian Saul Griffith points out, when we switch to renewables, we use a lot less energy. Why? Well, for starters, the largest use of fossil fuel energy in the world isn't transportation or industry or electricity. The largest use of fossil fuels in the world is fossil fuels, extracting, refining, and transporting them. If we stop burning fossil fuels, we save 25% of all the energy and pollution in the world. Second, about 40% of all the fossil fuels burned in cars and power plants doesn't produce locomotion or electricity, it produces waste heat. That doesn't happen with electric cars, wind turbines, and solar panels. When we stop burning and use clean energy, we'll save another 40% of the energy there. Overall, a commitment to clean electricity makes it substantially easier to meet global energy demands by reducing all that waste. In fact, we could power today's world the same way it is now with only 42% of the energy we use now if we switch to clean renewables. And there's some big money here. As the price of clean energy continues to go down and the damages and costs from fossil fuels continues to increase, we're now measuring the economic benefits of the transition to clean energy, not in the billions, not in the tens of billions, or even the hundreds of billions of dollars. We're now measuring the transition benefits to clean energy in the thousands of billions of dollars, about $17,000 billion to be precise, $17 trillion. We don't have time for the analysis now, but you can read a press release and the whole analysis from Deloitte should be popping up again in the chat right now. And lastly, let's talk about human lives. Here, I'm going to refer you to a paper by David Wallace Wells from last November in the chat, hopefully. He points out that right now, about 10 million people are dying each year because of the air pollution impacts of fossil fuel. That's 100 million people a decade dying from the exact same thing that causes global warming. And that's just the deaths from air pollution. Global warming will, of course, deliver additional punishing and transforming impacts: flooding, drought, crop failures, poverty and forced migration, possible state collapses, and again, all those hurricanes and wildfires. So there you go. Climate change is not your fault. It's the oil companies' fault. They still make us pay for it, though, and they keep us from realizing the economic, social, and health benefits of a clean energy future. Our problem is accelerating on an exponential curve, but so are the solutions. We're out of time, but we can still make the most of it. It gets harder every day. The secret is us. As Meighen just said, 75% of Americans are very concerned or concerned about climate change, but only 14% of us say the others around them are very concerned about climate. People are not hearing from us or a group of insiders. We all need to work to engage everyone every day in climate action. On behalf of all of us at ecoAmerica, welcome to the 11th or the 12th, I think it's the 12th annual American Climate Leadership Summit. There are so many exciting and empowering sessions coming up. We welcome your input during and after the summit, and please join us in making durable public support and political will for climate change a priority. Slav Ukraine, back to Meighen.
Thank you, Bob. And thank you for helping us to see climate change through new eyes and to see the impacts and opportunities through our economy, our health, how we extract and use energy in war, and in solutions that can multi-solve.